this season is becoming a leader. From all your teammates I've talked to, you've been the guy whose voice they're hearing on the field. Does that come with the territory of being middle linebacker, or is that important to you to step up and kind of take that leadership role yourself?
It's pretty much both. It's kind of something that comes with being middle linebacker. You got to communicate with everyone on the field from the secondary to the D-line, but at the same time, it's kind of something I put on myself, being a leader out there on the field. And, the past 2 years, I've had Kenneth Olabode, he's been pretty much the leader on defense. I've always had his back no matter what. And now that he's gone, I've had to step into that role of being the leader, being the voice on the defense, and it's something I've embraced and something I'm proud of having that responsibility.
Don't really want to get into last year too much. The thing that I'm asking pretty much all your teammates, and I'm just curious to get different perspectives. How much did the last 2 games of the season motivate you in the offseason?
The last 2 games, they kind of had a bittersweet ending to our season. Everyone talks about the success we had, but to me, it was last 2 games I'll probably never forget. Pac-12 game, finally making a bowl game, but it didn't go the way we wanted to. The score was not the way we wanted it in the season, especially for those seniors. That senior class that we had was not the way we wanted them to go out. So the off season, I couldn't stop thinking about those 2 games, and I'm glad that we played Washington this year. Definitely a big game I'm looking forward to, especially after last year. So.
And kind of how much is that mentality key into rebuilding and getting more motivation as a whole team for the next season, right? Because you came here, the program had a kind of short history of not having much success. You go through hell, like Coach Mack says, and you come on the other side, you prove people wrong, you go on to that season. How important is it to actually have something to keep it fresh, keep it motivating, and not that you wouldn't be motivated normally, but maybe just a little something extra?
I think just that success we had last year kind of showed everyone what we're capable of as a team. And kind of showed us the building blocks, like a foundation of what we have to do to have a season like that. And I think the all off season, from our strength staff, from Coach Wilson, he knew what kind of things we need to go through for us to actually be ready for the season. And I think everyone as a team, we all knew the things we had to put in, the work we had to put in for us to have success for this year.
What were your goals? What did you want to get better at in the offseason? Clearly everything, but were there specific focuses that you said, I really want to get better at this, getting off the ball, jumping off the ball? What was it?
It's always been with me, I try to get faster. Always helps, being as fast as you can, getting to the ball. At the same time, really that leadership role, I have had to step into, so I can't really just worry about myself at workouts. There's times where I have to push other guys, get other guys doing extra at workouts. So I think the leadership role has been my main focus, making sure I'm that leader that the team needs me to be, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Tell me about the 2017 Buffs defense. From so many of your teammates I've talked to, there is a chip on your shoulder, and there's an air that, listen, stop talking about last year. We don't want to hear about last year anymore, which is a good thing to have, in my opinion. What do you see this team bringing to the table, this defense?
I've kind of heard this question a lot since the last year ended, but I think, we definitely have a big chip on our shoulder. A lot of people don't really see us doing too well as a defensive unit. A lot of us seeing that we're going to kind of have to piggyback on our offense, especially with all the experience they have coming back. But I think as just a defensive unit, we all have that mentality of we want to win. We've always been firm believers that defenses win championships and everything. So there's going to be times where we'll struggle, but at the same time there's games where the offense will struggle, where the defense have to pick up the slack sometimes. But I think we know what we're capable of. We know we set a foundation for, especially defense. We set a bar of what it takes to be one of the best defenses in the country. I think we're trying to live up to that, or especially exceed those expectations.
As middle linebacker, inside linebacker, and the leader, and especially one of the main communicators, there's a chess match that goes on between you and the quarterback. Maybe not so much as it does at the NFL level here because of what's involved, but at the same time, it still exists. Your opponent is Steven Montez this year in practice. What growth have you seen in him this season that maybe you said, well, it really wasn't there last year?
I definitely think he's taking more of a leadership role, being that quarterback, not having to be the backup guy. And now that he's stepped into that starter role, I definitely think he's definitely been a big leader. And there was times last year that he had hit little rough patches here and there, and I definitely think he's starting to use that experience that he got from last year to push through those rough patches. When things get hard, can't always shy away. Some people are going to shy away, others are going to attack it, and I think he's definitely been getting that mindset that he's going to attack no matter what happens.
When you came in, I imagine that the CSU game was just another game on the schedule for you. Probably still is in a lot of ways, the way you, as far as the way you prepare for it. But does it still represent maybe something a little extra now at your 4th year?
Definitely, especially to the Colorado guys, it's always means something to them. This is a big rivalry in the state of Colorado, and especially with all the teammates we have on this team. I'm always going to play my heart out no matter what, any game, and especially this game. It's a rivalry, first game of the year. You always want to win your rivalry games, and I think all the Colorado guys definitely pushing harder, going harder, especially this week because they grew up with kids going to Colorado State, and I think this 4th year it's always fun games, especially going down to Denver.
Last thing, Coach Elliott, Coach Levitt. From everything I've heard, they're almost polar opposites. They're two completely different people. What do you see that Coach Elliott brings to the table? And just, you've worked with him now for a few months. What is it that you like about Coach Elliott?
He's definitely a calm guy. He definitely wants to. He's definitely a great guy to be around, and he definitely preaches having the intellectual side of the game. Making sure you know what you're doing, making sure you know what people around you are doing. So it's not like you're worrying about yourself. You know what's going on around defense. I definitely that's one thing I think he brings to the table. That mindset that as long as you know what you're doing, that's not just what you have to know. You have to know what other guys are doing. So it helps you play faster, knows what's going on, especially on the defense.